Govinda has the ability to come 24 hours late and pretend he's on time. He walks in blase. मैं आ गया, चलो रेडी टेक. अच्छा बॉस तू कल आने वाला था आ जाए. इसे एक दिन में क्या फर्क पड़ता?
Ad guru that's what everybody calls you.
When you want to get rid of somebody, उसको गुरु बना दो.
हाँ.
तो वो हिमालय चले जाता है.
Not you. There's so much those two lines meant for an entire generation of the 90s kids.
Yes.
Of Dil Mange More.
The advertising had connected with the kids. Today, the advertising is not aspiration. It's only consumerist. सबसे बड़ी creative चीज वो Pepsi film with Amir and Aishwarya was in the casting. It took us 3 months to cast that film.
Why?
We wanted a girl who was a stopper because she comes on for 4 seconds and she needs to stop the country in its tracks and say, wow. The day the film released, I got 5,000 phone calls the next morning saying, who is Sanju?
Rivalry between Aishwarya and Sushmita. That also you saw.
And I found Sushmita weeping copiously in one corner. She said, no, it's all fixed. So I sat her down and I said, have you seen your judging panel? Mrs. Simone Tata. So she's not going to be swayed by any public opinion or whatever. And that's precisely what happened. Sushmita won.
Sachin Tendulkar?
Marathi one was shy. Later on in his career, he got very confident. So he actually suggested things in the script, which were very good.
Okay.
Like in that Shah Rukh film, where Shah Rukh dresses up like Sachin and walks into the World Cup team at the dressing room to steal some Pepsis because they were being given free. The script was that Sachin takes the bat and goes to bat. But Sachin says, why should I do that? Yaar? That's not fun. So let me take the Pepsi, go back in the dressing room and let him go on bat.
Correct.
You know? So we said, wow, what a good idea.
This episode is powered by easemytrip.com. Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANR podcast with Smita Prakash. This episode is being filmed in Mumbai. My guest today is the ad guru of India, Prahlad Kakkad. He's made some legendary ads which you would have seen on TV for decades. Coke, Pepsi, Maggi, Nestle, Britannia, jewelry brands. But he's also a film director, having worked with legends like Shyam Benegal. Hope you enjoy listening to this conversation as much fun as I had having this conversation with Prahlad Kakkad. Thank you, Prahlad ji, for taking the time out and coming on the podcast. Very grateful. Thank you so much. So, how would you like to be introduced as a ad guru? That's what everybody calls you?
Advertising is a game of hype. So this guru business is also hype. But you must read between the lines of what, when they called me an ad guru, what does it mean? Guru जो होता है ना, वो संन्यास लेता है.
पर चेले होते हैं ना, lots of
चेले होते हैं, वो तो हैं. पर वो तो संन्यास लेता है ना. When you want to get rid of somebody, उसको गुरु बना दो. हाँ. तो वो हिमालय चले जाता है.
हाँ, not you. You're the king of good times.
So the thing
before Vijay Mallya made it a thing, right?
Yes, correct. So they're hoping like hell that by calling me guru, I'll disappear from everybody's life. They don't have a chance of a snowball in hell.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you made it into something big and something creative and big at the same time. Many of us, I studied advertising, by the way. So when we were, the first campaign that I worked on was Campa-Cola, but I was just a trainee. Right. And at that time it was like, if we can have a budget, then we'll get a Prahlad Kakkad. It was like, it was a big thing at that time. But of all the iconic ads that you've made so far, any favorites that you have?
Your last one is always your favorite.
Haan, kya?
Because it's like children. So your eldest, by the time he's born, he's your favorite, and then the next one comes, he becomes your favorite, and the next one comes, he becomes your favorite. The youngest one is always the favorite of the family. If you look at any such phenomenon. So ad films are like children. The youngest one is always the favorite.
So which was the last ad film that you made?
The last one that I made was for the Lakshadweep government.
Okay.
Which was for their tourism. And because I've spent 15-20 years in Lakshadweep.
Really?
Running a scuba diving school.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes. So I knew Lakshadweep better than anybody else did, even better than the islanders. Because the islanders only know the islands. I know everything underneath.
Yeah, okay.
because we were scuba diving, and the khasiyat of Lakshadweep is what is underwater, not what is
corals.
over. Absolutely, it's beautiful. And the area that they have underwater is 10 times the area that they have on land.
Okay. Yeah.
The shelf, where the coral shelf is.
Yeah.
So that was my domain. So I made a film on that.
Okay. An ad film or a documentary?
Well,
What did
there
you
were
do?
ad films.
Series of ad films.
Series
I'm
of ad
sure.
films, which were for different kinds of tourism.
But do you think it'll attract the kind of tourists that one wants, because you want eco-friendly tourists to come,
No,
not somebody who
always.
will
See,
ruin the.
when I ran my school for 20 years, we restricted it to 20 people.
Oh.
We never took more than 20 people on because we knew we couldn't supervise them.
Okay.
Then we didn't know what they were up to, So,
Yeah.
and in a very fragile coral island, you can't have junds of people, who are unsupervised and roaming around doing all kinds of damage,
I don't want to hear that people have let Lay's chips behind and Coke
No,
cans into the
plastic,
corals.
Coke cans,
Yeah.
breaking coral.
Oh God! But that's like criminal, right?
Of course, that's illegal.
Yeah.
But they still do ना वो बैग में छुपा के लेके चलते हैं सड़ना लगता है. They don't realize that coral is not a stone.
Yeah.
Coral is a living animal.
Yeah.
They think वो पत्थर जैसे को तोड़ के अच्छा लग रहा है इतना रंग बिरंगी और वो घर ले जाएंगे. हाँ, शेल्फ में रखेंगे. But when it dies, it becomes white. So there's no color left. But it smells like hell. अगर एक किसी जानवर की जिस्म आप अपने सूटकेस में डालोगे, by the time you go back home, your suitcase has to be thrown away.
Yeah, but making an ad for this is different from your earlier genre, like
No,
what
true.
you.
This was loves.
This
This was a loves.
The earlier ones, the products, among the products, which
See,
one?
only the one that I believed in and the scripts that we contributed to were acts of passion, which is why the difference between the kids today and what we were doing is that we were really doing it out of belief, and we could walk away from the job if we didn't like it. The kids nowadays do it only for money.
Yeah.
So there's a huge difference between the 90s and today. And 90s, I feel that were advertising greatest time because all the people in advertising were there out of choice. They were there out of choice because they wanted to be in advertising, they enjoyed it. They were passionate about filmmaking. And they had the option to turn around and tell a client, I don't like your script. I don't want to do it. It doesn't matter how much money you give me. आजकल कौन करता है? आजकल तो मारा-मारी चल रही है ना.
पर उस टाइम क्लाइंट को तो नहीं बोल रहे होगे ना, एड एजेंसी को बोलोगे कि योर कॉपीराइटर्स लाइंस आर नॉट गुड इनफ.
Yeah, but ad agency को पहले बोलते थे, but finally the client meeting, the boss is the client, ना. So you tell him, I'm sorry, I don't agree with the script.
So when you did the Pepsi ads and things like that, the celebrities who came, the client brought those celebs, or you
brought? The client brought the celebs, but the agency and us worked on the creatives.
On the creatives.
So we were very much part of the creative process.
Okay. That was when you made the Pepsi ads, it wasn't just 90s were a strange flux moment in India. Liberalization coming in, and suddenly there was no guilt associated with good times.
For us, for me, there's never been guilt associated with
Not for you, but what I mean to see is...
Specifically for me. And all my ads, I've enjoyed them thoroughly because you can see the kind of commitment and my flavor in them. So, as a director, you tend to put yourself in your ads.
Whose decision was it to say, yahi hai right choice, baby? Why the baby?
No, that was the agency. That was Anuja Chauhan.
Acha.
That was her line. And even Dil Mange Mo.
Dil Mange Mo also. Oh my God, that became iconic.
Iconic, yeah, because it was such a fabulous line. I didn't ever want them to lose that line. Moved on, international these things, pressures.
But there were so many things with Dil Mange More. Is that it was also India.
No.
Not happy with content was not a part of it.
But the beauty of Dil Mange was, Dil kya mange mo? Pepsi? Yeah, dreams.
वही तो.
It was all about dreams. Advertising is really all about dreams.
No, but both the lines are important, you know. Yahi hai right choice was also important because India was at a time जहाँ पे choice था हमारे पास.
Correct.
हाँ, we had moved away from कि हम सिर्फ 777 ही पिएंगे.
डबल सैंडविच पियेंगे, एक दूरदर्शन देखेंगे,
हाँ.
you know, वगैरह वगैरह.
Yeah, so India was waking up to the fact that अब choice है हमारे पास. हाँ, दिल मांगे मोर was also India where हम जो है उससे you know that या तो थोड़ा है थोड़े की जरूरत है. दिल मांगे मोर. You wanted more out of life, out of everything.
Out of everything, correct.
Huh. You weren't happy with just dal chawal. You wanted that ice cream or you wanted that कि रोज डिनर के बाद अगर थोड़ा सा मीठा हो जाए तो
तो इसलिए that's why Cadbury took that line.
You guys
थोड़ा सा मीठा हो जाए.
थोड़ा सा मीठा हो जाए. Yeah. So there's so much those two lines meant for an entire generation of the 90s kids.
Yes.
Of Dil Mange More.
No, there was a connect. See, the advertising had connected with the kids. Today, the advertising does not connect. It's not aspirational. It's only consumerist. There's a huge shift. Today, you are headlong into consumerism. अगर आपके पास ये गाड़ी नहीं है तो आप कुछ नहीं है. अगर आपके पास ये जूता नहीं है तो आप कुछ नहीं है. अगर आप ये मेकअप नहीं पहनेंगे तो आप बद्दी हैं. You know, this is today's advertising. In our times, advertising was aspirational. आपने बनना है कुछ.
But it was also believable. अगर Amir Khan और Aishwarya you took.
Yes.
It was believable that they were doing that. They were drinking
they were
that.
cast so brilliantly. But the battle was in the casting.
Yeah.
सबसे बड़ी creative चीज वो पेप्सी फिल्म with Amir and Aishwarya was in the casting. It took us 3 months to cast that film.
Why?
Because we wanted people who were already part of the story. Aishwarya was unknown. We wanted a girl who was a stopper because she comes on for 4 seconds. And she needs to stop the country in its tracks and say, wow, who is this girl? Ye kaun hai bhaiya? And that's exactly what happened. The day the film released, I got 5,000 phone calls the next morning saying, who is Sanju? Where did she come from? कहाँ से लेके आया इसका नाम?
How did you find her?
Oh, that was a story by itself. We were looking all over. We couldn't find her. I wasn't happy with anybody because they weren't that extra special. You know, it's not just being special. It was that extra special because 4 सेकंड में अगर एक पूरी दुनिया को आप रोक सकते हो, तो I needed that kind of face. And then some girls found her with a jhola and torn jeans and looking like a BTM from architectural college. She was in architectural college.
No, you know, if you haven't gone to college in Delhi or you won't know what BTM is. And I'm not even going to say it because it's politically incorrect to say it.
But I'm politically incorrect.
Yeah, वही तो.
So,
I'm sure यहाँ पे भी किसी को पता नहीं होगा crowd में कि कौन है BTM. But okay.
This BTM look, they brought it to my office.
How can she look?
No, I'm telling you, she was a college girl, yeah. You know, with a wildish hair and one jhola and one kurta and torn jeans and all that. तो मैंने देखा, मैंने कहा यार, is she it? They said, yeah, let's give her a makeup test. So what stopped me, what actually made me pause were her eyes. When I looked into her eyes, I saw the entire universe. With each mood, the color of her eyes changed. Because they were from slate grey to blue. So the color changed from grey to green to blue depending on her mood. And that mesmerized me. I said, हाँ चलो उसको कोशिश करते हैं. So we gave her a makeup test and glamorized her. And we just were gobsmacked. She was just so mesmerizing.
It was her first screen test?
It was, I think so. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
So...
was she nervous?
Of course.
Okay.
She was all over the place. But the camera loved her. We loved her. Everybody loved her. So we had already cast Amir.
So how did Amir agree for a newcomer opposite him?
He didn't have a choice.
Okay. And why
he wasn't that big then, you know.
Why Amir?
because he was the perfect boy next door. See, this was a copy of an American film, which was a very culturally rooted film. That in a place like New York, there's an apartment called 10G, where this young bachelor lives, and next door lives this girl. And she's out of Pepsi, and she, like, you out of milk or you out of sugar, you go to your neighbors, you knock it off. But in America, it's okay for a young girl to knock at a bachelor's door and say, do you have a Pepsi? Can I borrow one? But here's not. Culturally, we are not the same.
Yeah.
So we have to be very sensitive about our casting, because he should look overtly lecherous. He should look vulnerable. So I needed a boy who looked vulnerable, not cocky. Because that would have put the whole film into another zone altogether.
Correct.
So there's this pretty little girl knocks on the door very tempestuously, because it takes courage to do that in India, and said, excuse me, I'm sorry, but do you think I could borrow some Pepsi? And he looks at her and says, and you can see his need, his desire, this thing, but also his shyness. बहुत shy होना चाहिए वो.
तो और कौन था instead, like who were the others in the running for Amir's role?
At that time, there was Shah Rukh, who had also been there. And when Pepsi approached Shah Rukh, it was very funny, because Shah Rukh had just made it and was looking for a house. And he was short of 6 lakhs. So when they asked him, how much will you take? He said 6 lakhs. Because he needed 6 lakhs for his house. And when we recommended Amir, because he was in my casting mode, he was more perfect for the role. He was more vulnerable and shy than Shah Rukh was. Shah Rukh was Raju Ban Gaya Gentleman, and Amir was Cutie. So
Papa कहते हैं to or that. Okay.
And Aap, and the whole tehzeeb of that whole film, which had become such a big hit, because he never calls her tu. Throughout the film, he calls her Aap. And it's always very formal. Even the love story is very formal. And that's what I wanted. I wanted an audience to have that legacy, to know that he's not cocky, he's not pushing himself into her face. He's not doing this because he wants to trap her or in any way, okay, patawa, yes, but in a very nice kind of way. Not in an overt kind of, not in a Hindi movie style, which is Gana ga diya, gundagiri kar di, dhakka maar diya. That kind of courtship is highly unacceptable as far as we are concerned culturally. I don't know how it works, to be very honest. So we needed a very shy, vulnerable boy, and to me
that fitted.
That fitted. So there was always a legacy, behind it.
Okay.
So I was plugging for Amir. Amir wanted 16 lakhs. And Pepsi said, यार शाह रुख को ले लेते हैं 6 लाख में मिल रहा है. तो I said, देखो एक तो आपकी फिल्म कॉपी है, तो मेरे को क्या फायदा वो, अगर अच्छी तरह नहीं बनाई मैंने तो लोग बोलेंगे क्या बंडल आदमी है, कॉपी भी नहीं कर सका. और अगर ठीक से बनी तो लोग फिर भी बोलेंगे यार तो कॉपी है. तो हमारा contribution क्या है उसमें?
So you stuck to your guns.
I stuck to my guns. There was लिहाज. See, मेरे उसमें था कि was the nuance between the Western side of the script and the Indian side of the script.
Okay.
So that was to me very important.
Okay.
That we were not out of sur. We had to be in sur with an Indian culture.
Okay. So it's the same way as Maggie. That 2 minute which you did, 2 minute. So
Mama
how did
2 minute.
How did that come about?
That came about because the cast, the kids were like that.
Achha.
The kids were brilliant.
Okay.
So उनको बोला बोलो मम्मी को मम्मी मुझे मैगी चाहिए. तो मम्मी बोल रही है उनका अच्छा बेटा 2 मिनट.
2 मिनट. पर मैगी कभी 2 मिनट में बनता नहीं है. But just to tell you.
Let me tell you, मैगी 2 मिनट में भी नहीं, वो 1 सेकंड में भी बन सकता है, क्योंकि कच्चा खा सकते हैं आप.
Yuck. Okay.
नहीं, उसका भेल बना सकते हैं ना. It's already pre-cooked. अगर आप उसको चूरा करके उसको मुरमुरे में मिला के चटनी वटनी डाल के, you can make भेल out of it.
Okay, but everything in that thing was yellow color.
Yes.
That whole imagery was yellow.
That is what we contributed.
हाँ, but उसमें आपने celebs नहीं लिए ना?
नहीं.
You,
Those days, we didn't need to. It's now that it's become a celeb.
हाँ, but when you made it, no celebs in that.
But you can't have children celebs. Na? Children are celebs themselves.
So in that, the heroes were the kids or the mummy?
The kids. The
The
mummy
kids.
was only the solution.
Okay. So the product के लिए you used that कि बच्चे कह रहे हैं कि जल्दी से कुछ.
बच्चे पहले कुछ एक्टिविटी कर रहे हैं, मस्ती कर रहे हैं, बदमाशी कर रहे हैं,
हाँ.
and then उनको भूख लगती है,
हाँ.
और they want a snack.
हाँ.
So बब्बी भूख लगी. They didn't ask for Maggie.
हाँ, correct.
Their mummy भूख लगी.
2 minutes she says.
She
then.
said 2 minutes.
And that didn't change, no? For what, 30 years now? Or more, I think, no? That Maggie has, 35 years, I think.
35 years.
35 years. That 2-minute mummy wali thing has not changed. And look at the pressure you put on moms, by the way.
But you see, it's 2 minutes is also an idiom.
हाँ.
It's not an
बस 2 minute. हाँ.
2 मिनट में. तो कोई भी आप किसी को पूछो.
पराठे के लिए भी मम्मियाँ यही कहती हैं 2 मिनट में बन जाएंगे.
नहीं, पर टैक्सी वाला आ रहा है तो कहाँ हो आप भैया? अभी आ रहा है 2 मिनट.
उबर वाला भी यही है.
हाँ, और आप लेट हो तो कोई बोल रहा कहाँ हैं आप? अब 2 मिनट में आ रहा हूँ.
हाँ.
तो 2 मिनट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ
Indian culture, yes.
It's an idiom, you know.
Yes, totally get it. Where was it necessary? Where, like, कभी-कभी advertising में the celeb हावी हो जाते हैं, whereas the product is what you're being. So client must be telling you, concentrate on my product. What are you doing with the celeb?
We did. Our product shots
हाँ.
were revolutionary. We took 1 day to shoot the film, 1 day to shoot the product.
Oh.
We were the first people who pioneered the business of making pack shots into a piece of art.
Okay.
Not just putting it on a table and tokoing it.
हाँ.
We made it come alive. We put it in slow motion. We boiled it. We poured water on it. We dropped it in boiling water. We did all kinds of things to make it look tactile.
हाँ.
And not just a piece of packaging. We took it out of the package. We brought it to your mouth.
Yeah.
तो जब तक राल ना टपके ना, तब तक you are not successful with the product. What's the point? The product is a hero.
Yeah. And it was all new, right? The idea of throwing the bottle into water,
Yes.
the bubbles
Yeah,
coming up.
exactly.
That didn't
And
happen.
the taste maker.
Yeah.
वगैरह वगैरह. तो how much experimenting we had to do because वो मैदे का बना है. So the moment you put it into water, the maida comes out and becomes muddy. So we had to wash the Maggi noodles for hours before all the maida came out, before we could drop it into and varnish it so that it didn't become cloudy.
Correct. Yes. People don't realize it unless there's a backstory about how the ad films are made.
I'll tell you something. I trained somebody called Joel Fonseca.
Huh.
He is today the pack shot king of this country and probably Southeast Asia.
I see.
Okay, he was my peer.
Oh, wow.
And Joel became Joel Da.
I see.
Today he is known as Joel Da, which is master, ustad. Okay, you cannot do a pack shot without him. वो जादू करता है.
Okay.
And he innovates and he thinks and he's constantly thinking.
To make an inanimate object look glam and
look tactile.
tactile. हाँ.
And in your mouth.
हाँ.
So अगर food product हो और आपके राल ना टपके तो it's useless.
Yeah. That's true. Like they make ice creams look.
हाँ.
It's so difficult to shoot ice cream.
Ice cream की ये बहुत बड़ी कहानी.
Huh.
See, when we were shooting ice cream, it was a mess because they melt so quickly.
Yeah.
And especially under those harsh lights.
Yeah.
So we had exactly half a second to 1 second of shooting time.
Yeah, there were no cold lights in those days when you were shooting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we tried to find an ice cream substitute which would look exactly like ice cream without melting.
Shaving foam.
No.
Then?
It's what you call mashed potatoes.
Ah.
Okay, so we mashed potatoed and put the color and all into it and then scraped it, froze it and then scraped it and it was there, gave us a 30-second window to shoot.
Okay.
Before it started destroying itself.
But how did it look?
Looked exactly like ice cream.
Chamkila, like an ice cream?
Absolutely. But we realized it was working.
Oh.
It looked beautiful. I mean, the clients go gaga जैसे हमारी product को अपन इतना सुंदर बनाते
But how do you have actresses in licking that
all
potato?
that's why they're actresses. No? So then we realized two things psychologically. You desire an ice cream not when you're hungry, when you're thirsty.
Really?
It is a thirst thing. It competes against soft drinks. It doesn't compete against burgers.
That's true.
Okay? So when you're hungry, you think of a burger.
Huh.
But when you're thirsty, you think of an ice cream or a soft drink.
Okay.
Okay? So thirst kicks ice cream.
Okay.
So that was the first learning.
Huh.
Okay? The second learning was that if you are thirsty, you want the melt. So we were trying to go against the melt and not have the melt because it made it convenient for us to shoot. But that didn't appeal to people.
Okay.
What appealed to people was the melt. So जब वो melt का जो the parts were melting and messy, that is when people turn and say, "Wow, I want that."
That's true. I don't like Turkish ice cream because of that. It's tactile. It's not that melty feeling.
That's what I'm saying, because your desire comes from thirst.
Thirst. So look how much one learns in life in that. And the Maggi ketchup ad?
Maggi
It's different?
That was another story.
Kaddu and it's
I've written a book on that. There's a whole chapter on the Maggi ketchup story, backstory. How by accident it became real. I mean, we had Javed Jafri and Dennis Joseph and all of us sat and worked out. We got the idea from Kramer versus Kramer.
Okay.
Okay, so the idea was...
Dustin Hoffman.
But the idea came from there, but it was Shah versus Shah.
Acha.
In India. So we made it into Nasiruddin Shah versus Satish Shah.
Satish Shah.
Okay. Satish Shah mota, khata pita type hai. Nasiruddin patla suka.
One is this happy and one is this...
and one was a howrat and one was a questioner. So Satish Shah was the howrat and Nasiruddin was always questioning, "ये क्या बकवास कर रहा है?" Hot, sweet, क्या है ये? And it was sort of variant. It wasn't even for the ketchup. It was for hot and sweet.
Hot and sweet,
sauce.
yeah.
It was for a variant.
It was so yum.
So they had...
Is it still there?
Yeah, very much.
Okay.
So they didn't have budget. So Dennis ko ye idea mila, so we took it and ran with it. So they asked for one film. We made 6 scripts where it was Shah versus Shah. So it was, one was saying, "Boss, this is the best." And the other was saying, "What is so good about it?" Okay, one was the questioner, one was a believer, one was a questioner, basically. So it was a jugalbandi between Satish Shah and Nasiruddin Shah. But by the time we shot we used somebody from my office, and we used Javed himself as Nasir. And Javed was the Nasir, and there was a fat boy from my office who became Satish Shah. So we did trial shots. We did them on video. The first time, entire video shoot was done as a storyboard.
As a VHS.
As a storyboard.
Otherwise they're drawing.
Otherwise they're drawings or they were script presentation. So हमने कहा इनको कुछ समझ में नहीं आने वाला. Because they'll insist on seeing their product, they'll insist on seeing food, they'll insist on seeing all that. तो इनको समझाने में मुद्दत लग जाएगी और कभी नहीं they will not believe it.
Okay.
So our MBAs, and MBAs are anally retentive.
Okay.
So they've been taught that when you have a gut reaction, take a purgative. So I said, इनसे मगजमारी नहीं करनी चाहिए, इनको हकीकत बता दो कि how is it working.
Okay.
So we sat in the office and
shot
all this in the cheap with fixed background. And we took it then. And Dennis was the 6'1", lanky sort of copywriter, and you knew how the meeting was going depending on how tall he sat in his chair. So if you were looking in from the outside of the meeting through a glass window, and there's this meeting going on here, so if Dennis is sitting tall, means the meeting is going well.
Okay.
If Dennis is disappearing under the table, then that means the meeting is not going well.
Okay.
That was the litmus test.
Oh,
to see meeting as is, So they bajawed us. They said, where is the sauce moment? Where is the food? Where is the this? Where is that? वो कुछ नहीं था. Which were all जुगलबंदी dialogues.
हाँ.
You know, one day at the park. You know, one day just like that.
हाँ.
One day in the cinema.
हाँ.
100 दिन sauce के. So,
Yeah.
those are the titles of the film.
Yeah, 100 दिन sauce के. Yeah.
They were just the pack. There was no food shoot or like we romance the food usually.
Yeah, correct.
Food shop इसमें कुछ नहीं था. इसमें ये दो थे. They were the brand ambassadors. So they were bajawing us. They said, "Hey, this is rubbish. ये नहीं चलेगा." You know.
हाँ.
And while this thing, and Janice had almost disappeared under the table. Only his eyes were seeing. You know, and he's 6'1", just imagine. तो बात है देखो, तो सिर्फ उसकी आंखें दिख रही थी. तो it was a disastrous meeting.
हाँ.
So we knew that ये चलने वाला नहीं है. So then suddenly the door burst open. And the chairman of the company, Nestle's, a very bawa fellow called Ardeshar, he burst into the room. And he said, what is happening? You people seem to be having fun. So we said, sir, it's just a new presentation हो रहा है. This is just the preliminary of the new campaign. So he said, अच्छा, seems like fun. अभी आ रहा हूँ, मैं टॉयलेट जाके अभी आता हूँ. Hold the line. So they were dead silent because nobody expected him to come into the meeting. Everybody shat because वो सनकी आदमी है. You know, you never knew his mood. It was either ebullient or it was disaster. So we didn't know what mood he was in. Anyway, he seemed a little happy fellow right now, going to the toilet. He went to the toilet and came back and sat in the meeting. He said, दिखाओ मुझे. So we showed him all the videos. He laughed.
Okay.
And then he said, he looks at the brand manager and turns and says, कितना पैसा है हमारे पास? So we only have 2-3 lakhs. He says, उसमें क्या होने वाला है? So he take the whole budget from sauces and put it into this. So he said, but sauces are a flagship brand. How can we take the budget from sauces? What will happen to sauces? He said, trust me, you will sell more sauce than you will sell anything else. Because nobody is going to discriminate that much कि ये एक variant है, ये भी sauce है, ये भी sauce है.
हाँ.
और आपका sauce बिल्कुल दौड़ेगा. So everybody kept quiet because they couldn't say no to the chairman. Then he looked at the last film.
You mean ketchup versus
Ketchup,
sweet,
hot and sweet. Correct.
So, हाँ. Okay, so the ketchup had a...
He broke a cardinal rule.
Oh, there were separate budgets and
There were separate budgets because their main brand was ketchup.
हाँ.
This was an add-on.
हाँ. So सब कुछ separate था उसका.
Separate था.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, and even the advertising was separate, ना?
हाँ हाँ. Yeah, but I would think कि एक ही बजट से निकलेगा है तो 100 ही.
नहीं है तो वो तो उसका लॉजिक था ना.
हाँ.
Marketing,
I mean, for me also it would be.
MBA का लॉजिक आपने MBA किया है?
हाँ नहीं. Also shelf में एक साथ रहता है ना. Hot and sour and hot and sweet.
लेबल में थोड़ा फर्क है. That's about it.
The color is the same. It's that yellow red.
Yeah,
it's the same. The bottle shape is just minutely different.
Very true, but to
still
him, he said, "This is the campaign of the year. We are going to run ketchup, everything under this campaign."
Ah, okay.
And then he turned and looks at her and said, "Now, when are you going to release it?" So she said, "Sir, these are scratches. We have to get Nasiruddin Shah and Satish Shah." He said, "Bullshit. Don't bother. You see that thin guy, Javed Jafri, usko lo or change the fat guy into somebody else."
Huh.
And he left the meeting.
Okay.
Disaster. Nobody knew where to look. Dennis slowly came out from under the table.
Okay. Javed Jafri की चांदी.
Javed Jafri चांदी वो तो brand ambassador बन गया.
Brand ambassador.
You know.
Yeah.
So
that's true. He even did a TV show in which he used to keep saying that it's different.
Correct.
Like, but he's so good at
he's
mimicking.
He's brilliant.
He's yeah.
But he's also a good writer. So he wrote a lot of the dialogues of the scripts.
Okay. Who did the fat boy part?
Pankaj Kapoor. So Pankaj and they were brilliant together. Pankaj was expressionless and laconic. And Javed was all over the place. I said, but why? And he said, boss, this is different. He says, क्या different है? He says, boss, yeah, different है. And then we even did takeoffs on that villain. Lily, don't be silly.
Ajit.
Ajit. So we made Javed into Ajit. So Ajit was in the Maggie sauces.
Lily,
Ajit,
don't be silly.
there was Lily. And the Pankaj said, boss, it's different. And Lily would do, and says, Lily, don't be silly.
Okay, interesting, sir. Iconic ads of that time. So you decided not to waste the budget on a big star.
We couldn't afford that.
Couldn't afford.
Because he said, I want all 6.
हाँ.
अब हमें करना था 2 या 3
और फटाफट करना.
और फटाफट करना था. तो
Yeah.
वो बोल रहा था ऐसे ही जल्दी दो मुझे जैसे है.
हाँ. But these made you into this, like you want a big product, you want a multinational product. Get a Prahlad Kakkad. Did that travel at that time?
The reputation was that if you want a product with difficult kids, get a Prahlad Kakkad.
With difficult kids?
Yes, with kids because they're very difficult to work with.
Oh.
Because if you want a product with animals, get Prahlad Kakkad. If you want a script which is humorous and funny, get a Prahlad Kakkad. And if you want to get a really difficult director who doesn't listen to anybody, get a Prahlad Kakkad.
Okay. And tell me why funny? What was it that's your lookout for life?
I'm so irreverent. Huh? I mean, to me, everything in life is funny. First thing is me. I laugh at myself before I laugh at anybody else. And that is my greatest strength, I realize now, later in life. The सबसे बड़ी strength है कि आप अपने ऊपर हंस सकते हो तो दुनिया पे हंस सकते हो.
हाँ.
कोई इतराज नहीं कोई नहीं लेगा क्योंकि पहले आप अपने ऊपर हंसो.
हाँ. So you saw even the products irreverentially as compared to the makers of the products for whom it is God.
It is God. So I used to constantly explain to them that if you can laugh at your own product and make it light-hearted, people will accept it much easier. They won't question it so much. Because you come from a position of confidence. Why do people laugh at themselves? Why do I laugh at myself? I'm supremely confident about myself and my abilities. So I can afford to laugh at myself. So when Pepsi laughs at itself, or when Maggie makes fun of itself with funny scripts, people turn and say, "Yaar, ye to maan hai." There's so much confidence in their brand that they can afford to be funny.
In the 90s, which ad campaigns did you think really made so much of a difference in the sense that, you remember there was that Lalita ji and Surf?
Yeah.
And you know, like that Priya Tendulkar ka wo, matlab those things just changed advertising in those. So you were also making ads in that era itself, right?
Absolutely. I refused to do the Lalita ji ads. You know why?
Why?
Well, Lalita ji had this very irritating son called Raju Beta. Very irritating. You used to constantly ask stupid questions. Okay, in the middle of button, you know. So I wanted to do a film with Lalita ji where she gives him one thappad.
Ki chup kar.
Chup bad. That would be very much in character. So they refused. They said, no, we can't hit children and you know. I said, एक कान के नीचे पड़ना चाहिए राजू बेटा का. It's such an irritating little bugger, you know. So they said no. So I said, okay, I won't do it.
So you have refused projects which were like good money and big names.
Absolutely.
But if you didn't agree with that.
Not only did that, I didn't agree with the category. Like for instance, Fair and Lovely. There were lots of Fair and Lovely Me Toos, you know. And one of them was my client and he wanted me to make a film. I said, नहीं, तो मुझे proof दीजिए आप कि ये असली में काम करता है. तो इसे कैसा proof दूँ? मैंने कहा एक काम करिए. In those days I had to wear a watch.
So you had that.
I had that
sunblock,
white, that sunblock kind thing. तो बिल्कुल सफेद था वो watch के नीचे. तो मैंने watch निकाला. मैंने कहा आपका product आप लगाइए इस पे, बाकी के चमड़े पे. और अगर ये भी सफेद हो जाए, मेरा बाकी का चमड़ा भी टैन निकल जाए और सफेद हो जाए, I'll do your product. नहीं कर पाए. I refused. I said, this is dongi.
But what about when actors sell products and it's not gelling? Some, like, say an Anil Kapoor selling a scooter or a Ranbir selling a scooter.
It's unethical, in my opinion.
You know that.
See, I'll tell you when Shah Rukh...
But when Dharmender sold Bullet, people believed.
Because he was a bullet man. Dharmendra is the typical bullet man.
बुलेट में
हाँ,
जा
and Rangad, you know what they call in Haryanvi Rangad.
रंगड़ आदमी.
हाँ, वे Rangad आदमी, वो तो बुलेट पे चलेगा ना.
हाँ.
All the terrorists used to drive bullets only. They banned bullets in Punjab during terrorism.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
So
Yeah. Now we're talking 80s.
हाँ.
हाँ.
So I made that iconic film for Bullet मेरी जान मंजिलों का निशान.
हाँ.
Where you know
Yeah.
you are a bullet owner and you are others.
Yeah.
Because
But
that,
did he really ride the bullet? Dharmender?
he used to occasionally, but
No, in the film.
in the film he
you
rode
didn't
it.
have a duplicate.
No, I didn't use Dharmendra. I used another guy. But my film was all about macho men riding bullets and bhalta men riding 100cc bikes. You know, so,
Vespa.
100cc
Lambretta,
bikes.
or even the bikes.
In those days, the competition came from the 100cc bikes because they were giving 75, 80 kilometers to the liter. It was all about economy.
But वो भी तो था वो क्या fill it, shut it, forget it.
वो यही Honda.
Honda.
हाँ, Hero Honda.
That was a very good ad.
Yeah, it's a very good ad, but for economy.
हाँ.
अब छाती पे बाल हाथ में बंदूक, then that's not the bike for you.
Jesus, did you have that slide ever?
No,
You should have had
but
it.
I use it all the time. It's for macho Indian men, the whole mentality is छाती पे बाल हाथ में बंदूक.
Oh God, you're so politically incorrect, you know, Mr. Kankar. I guess that's why. That's why it clicked. So, but yeah, Bullet was fabulous. But what about now? When you have, I mean, I saw it recently, Ranbir and Anil Kapoor selling a scooter car thing. And I was, or even an Amitabh Bachchan, you know, selling hair oil.
No, because I had a script for them, for Maruti.
And laxative.
I had a script for
Why would you want Amitabh Bachchan selling laxative?
Yeah, but then he would be credible.
Yeah.
Because at his age, he would spend large amounts of time on the potty every morning. So if he,
it's that film he did, remember? An entire film with Deepika Padukone.
Yes, yes, exactly.
On that.
So he was perfect casting.
So
he
when I thought
used to
that-
carry a potty with him. You know,
Yeah.
कहते हैं ना, there's a very big saying in Hindi.
Yeah.
तो मौत और टट्टी कभी भी आ सकती है.
Now you sound like Kushwant Singh. So when I said that, oh my God, what is wrong with Amitabh Bachchan? Why is he making an ad film on, on laxatives? So somebody says, which world are you living in? He's made an entire film with Deepika
exactly.
Padukone. So it flows from that. I mean, flows is a wrong line.
But that's credible.
Yeah, it's credible
Yeah.
that a man in his 70s
But
is...
every man in his 70s.
But I don't want to think, no. My generation thinks still of him as an angry young man. Doesn't
Yeah,
want to
but he's a 70 angry, not so young man.
Yeah.
But he has issues. Yeah.
It's so de-glamorous to think of.
No, it's normal.
It's normal. I know, but you
The
don't.
best ideas come on the throne. When I'm reading Mad Magazine.
Okay.
So on the throne, my reading is Mad Magazine.
That's what I wanted to know. What is your reading that spurs this kind of creative?
So my throne reading is Mad Magazine.
Huh.
And a lot of my irreverence and my humor comes from Mad Magazine.
Okay, you're such a 90s person to think of that. But besides that, you worked with some legendary names. You worked with Shyam Benegal and things
True.
like that.
You were my
Right?
guru.
Ankur and Manthan and all that. Why did you not get into that line continuously, like filmmaking of that kind?
See, this was the low-hanging fruit, and when Shyam vacated that position, and we automatically moved into it because we were all his assistants. So we learnt our craft from him. So though we
Camera, AD.
No, direction and scripting, and we learnt that craft from him. And when he was an ad filmmaker, and then he moved on to a feature film. We assisted him on his features. But we came back and started our ad film company because it was so much easier to actually get traction. And we did extremely well. And because we were doing so well, and the whole business of feature films at that time was so difficult to get funding. Even somebody like Shyam struggled all his life to get a big budget. To cast big people.
Because Ankur and Manthan must have been on shoestring budget.
Shoestring budget, all of them.
Yeah.
12 lakhs, 15 lakhs, that kind of budget.
Yeah. So, but you saw that Shabana Smita era.
Totally.
Right? What were they like together?
Together they didn't get along too well. But they had great admiration for each other, but they didn't, as people, personality, they weren't particularly glued.
Huh. Were they vying for the same projects? That's why they didn't get along?
Partly, and partly because they were Shyam Benegal's favorites.
So they were...
They were both his favorites. And both of them worshipped Shyam
Okay.
to a very large extent. And because Shyam had given them both their breaks and given them latitude to be able to perform without confining them to his vision.
Okay.
He didn't confine them to...
Were they both instinctive actors?
Very good. Very good. Different, but very good.
And what were their personalities like? Like, Shabana looks like a very vivacious kind of a person.
Shabana was a very young, vivacious lady. Smita was much shyer and much more conservative. Okay? But Shabana was a live wire because when she wasn't acting, she was helping.
Okay.
And so was Smita. That was the tradition in Shyam's unit. The actors all helped back camera when they were not needed on the set.
But Shabana came from, Kefi and Shaukat Azmi.
And theatre.
And theatre.
Very creative.
So she had a lot of, experience
Yes.
in that, and she knew, she understood dialogue delivery, she understood poetry.
Yes.
Smita Patil didn't.
No, but she came from a very traditional, cultural, Lavani, Maharashtrian background, and she was reading news when
News on Bombay Doordarshan.
Yeah.
But her diction was different from Shabana's diction. Shabana could...
Very different. Shabana was
Urduized.
and Smita was very Marathi.
And then you had a Girish Karnad, who was neither.
Who was the Karnataka?
Karnataka. Dharwad, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So he didn't... it was like...
His English was impeccable. His Hindi was terrible.
But again, theatre.
Theatre.
And Shyam Benegal could get magic out of all three of them.
All of them, because he allowed them space.
Okay.
He actually allowed them space.
Okay. So when you were working with him, what did you imbibe out there, which till today you feel that that's what I learned from that?
See, what I imbibe from him is the hero of the entire process is the story. Whether the producer understands it or whether the system understands it or not, that's hakikat. Okay, that's what connects with the audience. Now, your cast has to be cast in a manner, not because they're big casts or small casts, but because they can deliver that vision of the story.
Was there like an absolute rivalry between Smita Patil and Shabana Azmi for screen space? Was it?
No.
No.
The only time they were together, I think, was in Nishant. Nishant was where Smita was the wife of the young Zamindar, and he was infatuated by Shabana, who was a school teacher's wife, and he abducted her. And they were both living in the same house, and they had this strange relationship because one was the mistress, or so-called abducted, reluctant mistress, and one was the wife.
So people enjoyed casting the two of them together also, to see that the chemistry. Of that.
Correct.
The sparks, if they would fly or not. Right?
But they had very healthy respect for each other professionally.
And when Smita Patil died, it came as a shocker to many people, right?
No, it came as a shocker to everybody, especially to us, your family. To Shyam Benegal unit, she was family. So is Shamana. She's family. She worked with us, ate with us. Worked as an AD. When she wasn't required, like Chandandas Chor, when Shyam cast Smita for the first time. And Shabana came along as the first AD.
And it's very strange. Both Smita Patil and Shabana Azmi both in love with married men at that stage.
Yes.
Right? You saw that happening in front of you. And it was like, for one, it was doom. And for the other, she built on it. On that.
Well, I think Shabana was far more confident as a person, where it wasn't all or nothing. She always had multiple choices. So her strength came from the fact that she was the center of the universe, that all the men were buzzing around her. Whereas with Smita, it was very old-fashioned. It was that true love is sacrifice. Okay, so when women are conditioned to think of true love as sacrifice, they always become victims.
Very Heathcliff kind of situation
Yes.
where it's a destructive.
It's very destructive because it's conditioned. Women in India are conditioned to believe that because then they can be captive and they can stay within an unhappy relationship and take all the that comes with it.
Let me come back to another rivalry between Aishwarya and Sushmita. That also you saw panning out.
But that happened in front of me,
Huh.
because when they came up for Miss India, I had escorted Aishwarya to Goa. That is where to it with her mother, and her mother was staying with me, as a matter of fact. And I met Sushmita there at the thing. I had access to the changing room, much to the organizer's dismay. Says, "Who are you? Tu bahar ka aadmi hai, andar kyun ja raha hai?" I said, "You can't stop me. I'm there." Okay. And one day I found, halfway through the competition, I found Sushmita weeping copiously in one corner, in the changing room. And I walked up to her, even though I was supposed to be from a rival camp. I walked up to her, what's the problem? She said, no, it's all fixed. It's all rigged, that we don't know what we are doing here. So I said, what is fixed? She says, no, Aishwarya is so big and she's become such a big model and we are all beginners. And they already decided that she's going to be Miss India. And we are just hanging around for the crumbs. So I sat her down and I said, have you seen your judging panel? There's Mrs. Tata, Mrs. Simone Tata, this. I said, do you think they're going to be, coerced into what Times of India thinks?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so if Times of India decided that that Aishwarya is going to be Miss World or Miss India, and you are nobody, you think they're going to convince that to Mrs. Tata and say that no, you follow our dictum? Bullshit. Mrs. Tata is bigger than Times of India. She's got her own opinion. So she's not going to be swayed by any public opinion or whatever. She's a judge. She's going to judge honestly and fairly. And that's precisely what happened. Sushmita won.
Yeah. Because, why? I mean, I still can't understand. I'm not saying Sushmita is less beautiful and shouldn't have won, but there was that something.
No.
It was a tough competition.
No, it was a tough competition. Both of them were stunning, but Aishwarya fell. So in the trade-off, finally there was a question and answer round, which was an extra round because they couldn't make up their minds. And Sushmita's answer, because she was convent educated, basically, was far more confident than Aishwarya's.
Okay. Huh.
And
okay, that also points go for that.
Yeah. So she won on that last round. It was touch and go.
But that was like what an era it was. And then there was Sushmita versus Lara Datta also.
Not really.
Both of them were like so confident, beautiful women. But Aishwarya losing out to Sushmita was unbelievable. And
on that particular competition.
Yeah, in that, because like...
But both of them became...
Miss
Sushmita
Universe and Miss World.
Yeah, exactly.
They both found their space.
That was India's glory.
Yeah. And I think the rest of the world also stood up to see that, oh, okay. You know, it was always Romania and all of them winning.
And Venezuela.
Venezuela, yes. Venezuela always, Miss Venezuela. But what were they like to work with, Aishwarya? And you've seen Aishwarya from her first shot onwards. And then she comes to this, Sanjay Leela Bhansali movies and she superstardom and like there's nobody to beat her. And then she takes, now she's mom and does a few ads here and there. And then, the criticism that she has faced so many times for fashion choices.
No, always. Because Aishwarya is a very private person. She's not a public person. She doesn't open up in front of anybody. She has a very few set of very close friends who are confidants and who she trusts. And only then she actually opens up and talks freely. But otherwise, she's very, very particular.
Okay.
So the press, the media, as you know, I mean, if they don't have access to somebody, they'll badmouth them.
Oh.
So Aishwarya has always had this policy that I will not give single interviews. I will give a press conference. So all of you come and I'll give you a press conference.
Okay.
and I'll ask her questions.
Huh.
But I will not give you access on one-to-one as to my gossip and my private life, my this, that, not. It's completely out of bounds.
Yeah, even when that phase when she was with Salman Khan,
It was,
did not speak.
She didn't speak a word.
Oh.
Because that's her dignity. And Aishwarya realized very early in life that her silence was her dignity and her strength. And it bothered the media. So they were constantly trying to demean her, to criticize her, to bring her down so that she would come down to a level where she'd say, oh, enough, I'll give you what you want. She never did.
She didn't. Okay.
She never did.
Whereas Sushmita's is like an open book.
She's an open book. She's a muffat.
Huh.
And she doesn't care. Whatever they say. अच्छा है, बुरा है, मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड है, हाँ मेरा बॉयफ्रेंड है. कितने लवर हैं, इतने लवर हैं. You know, and so forth and so on. You know,
Very bindas.
Very bindas.
Okay.
And darling of the press.
Yeah.
Because they could get whatever they wanted from her because she didn't hold back anything.
Huh. And career-wise, both their paths went on the side, but it didn't crisscross that
They
much.
didn't crisscross, but what happened was that Sushmita got disenchanted with the industry, like Aishwarya did also eventually, and started becoming difficult to actually get hold of, access. So she put layers in front of her to.
Why?
I think she was disenchanted. I don't think she trusted them.
Okay. I always felt that she was a little bit like Parveen Bhavri, maybe. To some extent, in the sense, westernized.
Yeah, she was westernized. She was,
And fish out of water in certain circumstances.
In certain circumstances, but also mistrusting of the industry. Because they were all exploitative. At the end of it, if you're a single woman and you're good looking and your life is on the line because your career is your life, then you can be taken advantage of. No?
But Aishwarya got everything from the industry. So why did she mistrust?
Aishwarya got it because she was Gharelu.
Oh.
So they didn't assume that they could have access to her anyway. And anyway, they didn't have access to her, including her directors and things. I mean, she was close to her directors, like she was very close to Sanjay Leela Bhansali, which is why he got such a great performance out of her. But other than that, to the riffraff in the industry, she wasn't accessible. Whereas they felt Sushmita was accessible because she was so open. So they felt that, take a chance le lo.
But you feel that both got raw deal to some extent from...
They would, because they were such independent women. And and our industry, like the rest of the country, doesn't understand independent women. They are so patriarchal.
Let's go back a little bit. Do you think it was like between Sridevi and Hema Malini? Were they also, not speaking to the media, kept to themselves? Ask
Correct.
Amma. I won't talk.
Correct.
There's a reason they built those walls?
Obviously, because people get familiar unnecessarily. No? The moment you allow them in, they start taking advantage and getting familiar because they don't come from the same background. Most of the riffraff in the industry come from very base backgrounds. They think that Haspadi to Paspadi. That's a motto.
Yeah.
So
But whereas they are just emoting on screen of Hasna.
No,
Doesn't
but
mean that
even
in
if they
private.
laugh at you on a
okay.
joke,
Huh.
everybody thinks they can after that get familiar. They take advantage of your vulnerability.
You do so many outdoors.
Yes.
You've shot also outdoors, and all these actresses come outdoors. And one actor that I spoke to, a woman actor, she said that we never met men outside the industry.
Correct.
We just went there and yahi the. They were the ones who were there, and we were shooting with them for 2 months, 3 months. Some of them were married men, and they make advances, and that's how things.
And they
happen.
charm you. But you see, if they charm you, they get away with it. If they're obnoxious about their rights of patriarchal attention, they don't get away with it.
But that's the thing, that even though they are successful women, strong women, earning very well in life.
But they're attracted to strong men. It doesn't matter whether they're married or not. That is another issue altogether. But a strong woman will be always attracted to a strong man, not to a wimpy man.
And then they married men.
Yes. So
Now, it doesn't happen all that much now. Things are changed.
Of course it does. Now it doesn't matter anyway if they
They don't marry them. That's the
no,
difference.
but even if you are married, how does it matter?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is
The
that
institution of marriage is not sacrosanct anymore. Yeah.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying. वो जो पहले होता था ना छुप छुप के
Correct.
having